The International Court of Justice continued public hearings on Israel's restrictions on UNRWA operations and the blockade of humanitarian aid to Gaza. A United Nations representative called for immediate delivery of aid and stressed the need for Israel to comply with international law and humanitarian obligations. The UN representative also urged protection for medical teams and the safety of Palestinian civilians. UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini said the agency's presence remains vital for addressing humanitarian needs in the occupied Palestinian territories. Lazzarini warned that unlawful restrictions are impeding aid delivery to Gaza and underlining the importance of reaching a fair and lasting solution for Palestinian refugees. He noted that recent Israeli legislation has hampered UNRWA's ability to fulfill its mandate. Israel has faced accusations of breaking international law by refusing to let aid into the Gaza Strip at the International Court of Justice. Representatives of UN and Palestinians opened the hearings, to which dozens of countries are participating over a week. In December, the UN's top court was tasked to form an advisory opinion on Israel's obligations to facilitate aid to Palestinians that is delivered by states and international groups, including the United Nations. Germany, France, and Britain last week called on Israel to adhere to international law by allowing the unhindered passage of humanitarian aid into Gaza, after Israel reiterated that no aid would be allowed to enter Gaza in order to pressure Hamas.
Mr. President, members of the court, no humanitarian aid, commercial goods have been allowed into Gaza.
Palestinian Assistant Foreign Minister Ammar Hijazi said Israel is deliberately targeting UN workers and humanitarian personnel. He revealed that nearly 200 UN workers and around 113 Palestinian civil defense workers have been killed since the start of the Israeli assault on Gaza. Israeli bombardment has killed at least 24 Palestinians and wounded dozens more in separate attacks across Gaza. Palestinian media reported that Israeli artillery shelled the Al-Zaytun neighborhood in Gaza City and the Qizan Abu Rashwan area in Qnews. Additional casualties were confirmed following a strike on a house south of the city. Meanwhile, 9 Palestinians were killed in Israeli airstrikes targeting Qnews and Gaza City last evening. In another attack, an Israeli drone strike on Gaza's Tufah neighborhood killed 8 people and wounded several others. Separately, 1 Palestinian died from injuries sustained in an earlier airstrike on Abbasan al-Kabira near Qnews. Since October 7th, Israeli forces have killed more than 52,200 Palestinians, mostly women and children, and injured over 117,600. The death toll continues to rise, with many victims still trapped under rubble or unreachable by rescue teams. Israeli occupation forces have continued their onslaught on the city of Jenin and its refugee camp for the 97th consecutive day. Israeli forces forced 20 families to evacuate their homes in the Al-Zahra neighborhood near the camp, converting them into military outposts. Israeli bulldozers are continuing demolition operations within the camp under a total media blackout, with around 600 homes fully demolished and others partially destroyed, making them uninhabitable. The camp is now surrounded by 4 metal gates and earth mounds, effectively sealing it off as a closed military zone with restricted access. The Israeli occupation forces have continued their aggression on the city of Tulkarm and its camp for the 92nd consecutive day, and on the 79th day on the Nur Shams camp. Israeli forces are continuing to send military reinforcements, including vehicles and infantry, Karm and its 2 refugee camps and surrounding areas. These forces are conducting heavy raids, firing live ammunition and sound bombs, and vandalizing homes and shops. Israeli forces carried out raids around the Shuweiqa roundabout in the city's northern neighborhood, detaining 2 after raiding Al-Hafi building. In a related incident, Israeli special forces stormed the Artah suburbs south of the city, setting up near the Fatima Zahra mosque, launching a drone and firing heavily. Israeli occupation forces have released 11 Palestinian detainees from the Gaza Strip. A recent report by the Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs and the Palestinian Prisoner Society highlighted that the prison system, based on testimonies from detainees, has done everything possible to strip them of their humanity and break them psychologically. 19 months after the genocide, the conditions of detention remain largely unchanged, and in fact, they are deteriorating. The situation is marked by ongoing brutality, and time continues to play a decisive role in determining the fate of the detainees.